Hey guys, it's Lance Bass, and you're listening to My Favorite Bob on The Baub Show, here on UBN Radio.
You're listening to The Baub Show, exclusively on ubnradio.com.
That's called knowing my audience. Welcome.
Well played.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Bob Merrick, sitting here with my friend Jeff Schroeder. And now that I've adjusted the camera, I'm so excited to welcome my other friend that I haven't seen in way too long, Mr. JC Chasez.
Good morning. Oh, listen to that audience clap and everything. That's fancy.
So I don't even know where to start other than the fact that you two were just busting me on laughing too loud.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear you in the green room through a hallway and two sets of walls.
Do you remember? I wasn't even going to bring this up. You you used to have a nickname for me.
Which
exactly.
Was that one? Oh.
No, you used to call me Squeaky because you said the drunker I got, the higher pitch.
Yes!
The higher.
Yes! Yes!
The higher my voice got.
This is very
That sounds
true.
about right.
Yes!
And that was why I couldn't believe one of the first things out of your mouth getting in here is about how my voice can cut through.
It carries.
The station manager came in here and said the radio's still on, but I'm like, no, it's just Bob's laughing. So
Yeah.
That's not fair. JC, so I saw you the other day at Lance's house, and I have to tell you, I know that I've missed you because I haven't seen you in forever. Since seeing you, I didn't realize how much I missed you.
I'm just a fun guy to be around. I'm just the funnest ever. You miss that joy.
I do. Where have you been?
I've just been working, minding my own business, but working. Again, the reason I'm here is because I wanted to tell everybody about the project that I'm working on, which is Girl Radical. So that has been the focus of my entire life in the recent years. So.
And what made you decide to go focus on somebody else's career instead of? And I know this is a career for you to be a producer, but as opposed to your solo career.
Inspiration. It's just a matter of when you're inspired to do something. When it's about having a passion. It's like, look, I can be self-serving, if I want, but when you find something that you're genuinely excited about, why not invest in that? Look, I've had all the success that anyone could ever ask for, already. And is there more to be had? Sure, but it depends on, how you want to express yourself. This is a project that I believe in, that I'm passionate about because I feel like it's fresh. And to be a part of something that's fresh and exciting, that's where I want to be. I don't want to just be status quo. I would much rather just be a part of something that can be more than that.
Is there something, and we're going to talk all about Girl Radical because that is what we're talking about. So we're going to get to Girl Radical. But do you think, because you started, I think people forget how young you started.
Yeah.
Like you got into the whole music thing and performing at a very young age. And so you're kind of, when you're saying that it's not feeling fresh, is that part of it? Just that it's like, you've done it all, or do you?
No, it's really, again, as an artist, and I think any artist can attest to this, it's just about, being inspired. Again, you can either be inspired because you have an idea of what you want to get across, and that idea could be anything, but any artist, you can see there are changes in their career because they're drawn to something at different times. Even if it's a band like U2, their first record doesn't sound like Achtung Baby.
Yeah.
And Achtung Baby doesn't sound like, what they're doing now. It's all of these different kind of movements, these inspirations. And so stylistically, even they've changed over the years. Me, it's kind of like I just didn't want to be pinned into one thing. I'm kind of a free spirit, but when I'm passionate about something, I go all in, and that's what I'm doing with this project.
So is there any chance, and I know I already asked you this the other day, but we miss you. Like, we miss hearing, like, not just me personally, but like you have an amazing voice. I mean, like, so selfishly, and I know that I'm not speaking just for myself. We want to hear more from your voice. Is that something? I mean, I know we can never say never.
Like,
but
is the door shut on that, or?
At the moment, yes, because again, I'm just kind of like, I know what I sound like. I don't care. But that being said, look, if the right song, if I wrote the right song and I was passionate about sharing it with people, I can't say never. But right now, again, I'm just focused on the thing that I'm excited about right now.
Yeah.
Again, you do, as an artist, you invest yourself into the things that you're inspired by.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I'm doing something that I'm not inspired by, people are going to feel that too.
Yeah.
They're going going to go, oh, well, this is a great half-assed attempt at something. You know, that's not how you want to approach, at least not how I want to approach things.
Yeah.
I want people to know that whatever they get from me, that I believe in it and I'm giving it everything I can. So.
Which is fair, and because I was thinking about it this morning, and people like like a Fred Savage or a Ron Howard, who obviously had a lot of success in front of the camera at a young age, and people don't realize. I mean, well, people realize it about Ron Howard that he went off and became a director, but Fred Savage is constantly working.
Yeah.
But they found a passion behind the camera, directing and doing other things. So. From that standpoint, I get it. I think selfishly, like.
Well, the fun. Well, no, listen, and again, being a singer is only one dimension of it. Again, being a writer and a producer is a whole nother one, and it's a challenge and it's exciting. And the thing about being a producer is you're not essentially locked into one thing. The great part about being a producer is you get to experiment.
Yeah.
And you can work with people who have all sorts of different talents. My favorite thing is to collaborate. It really is, and that's why I felt like I was such a good part of NSYNC. A good group member is because I'm a great collaborator, and
that was always your favorite part. I mean, I can sit here even this morning when I was like trying to think of the experiences that we've had together.
Yeah.
Like I have so many more social experiences with the other guys than I did with you.
Yeah.
Because you were always. Granted, sleeping a lot,
get my rest, man, because I wanted to give the audience what I had.
But you also were constantly like in the studio. Like you spent a lot of time in the downtime. Like you loved going to the studio, even if it was just sort of like playing around and trying to think of something new. And at the end of the day, I mean, from a business model, you were one of the smarter ones because it wasn't about why did JC get more solos than say Lance or something. It wasn't about that. It was partly just
it's passion.
That was where you were.
That was passion.
That's what you're talking about, the
inspiration and passion. You follow your heart. And then the thing about it is, then you have to commit to it. You have to put the work in. You can't just have it magically appear. It takes work. Anything, if it's going to be successful, it's going to take work. So you have to be willing to invest. So
that does bring us to Girl Radical.
Yeah.
So where did the idea come from to put together
not just
a girl group?
Yeah,
11 girls?
Yeah, 11.
Where did that number come? You just
which are
cut it
basically
down?
and borderline teenage girls.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, the number, can be anything, really. We just know that we wanted it to be larger than life, really, and we wanted to do something fresh. I'm working with a producer named Jimmy Harry, and he's worked on a lot of successful projects, and the two of us were kind of like, writing songs for other people. And we were going, I sure would like to, work on a project, start a project that we believe in, instead of just kind of throwing songs out there to people and seeing, who likes what.
Yeah.
Instead of, we wanted to build something from the ground up, something that we were inspired by. So we were scratching our heads for a while, and we talked about it for years even. What would it be? What would it be? What would it be? And then one day we worked with a Japanese artist named Miko Fukuhara. And Jimmy and I said, what's going on, in Japan, because we were working on a record for her in Japan. She's a superstar over there. And we ended up seeing this thing where it was just like this whole movement of supersized groups. And we had never seen anything like that in America. And we were like, you know what? What's interesting about that is they do it their way, but what if we did it our way? What if instead of just making it about, just this big moving mass, we had a large group, but we then let every individual express themselves? Because in the examples that we had seen over there, at least, and there might be different ones that I don't know about, but in the examples that we saw there, everything was very uniform, and it's beautiful to see, because when you see something like that move, and honestly, it did at times bring me back to what NSYNC did. It's like the synchronicity is a beautiful thing. The symmetry of something huge moving at the same time in the same way is beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's fun is these girls can do that, but they can also, because they all have the talent to express themselves. So what we've developed is a community of artistic people willing to essentially contribute their talents to be bigger than themselves, because this is something fresh that America has never seen. And so that's what I got excited about. Wait a minute. This is something that no one here has ever seen, and we can do it in a unique way, a way that's never been done before to my knowledge. That's exciting when you can say, I can be first.
Yeah.
I can work on something and we can be first.
Which goes
That's
back to what you
crazy
said,
talk.
and you needed, and that's what you needed. You needed that fire, the inspiration.
It lit a fire under me. I mean, it's like, that's it. I just kind of looked at it and said, that I can make a mark.
But how does it work knowing, I mean, again, going back to NSYNC, which had 5 guys, which has become sort of like the norm.
Yeah.
But of the 5 guys, it's hard to sort of like get, solos or but how do you do with 11? Like how do you give 11 girls each their own opportunity to be showcased?
The world has changed. You don't just express yourself through a record anymore. You have YouTube channels and you can sing songs in so many different formats. There's so many different ways to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
That everyone can express themselves. There are no limits to what you can do in this day and age. You're not just waiting for that one record every couple of years, because even now it seems like people are putting out records once a year.
Yeah.
Full albums every year. When before it would be
Rihanna's a perfect example of like she's cranking out one album a year, 2-3 singles that are huge.
Sure.
But out comes the whole album, and then like before you know it, there's another hot new single, and you're like, oh, this is great, but I don't remember. Oh, it's because it's on another album coming out.
Exactly. So I mean, again, the amount of information that people require is different. So with more people, you can give them more, and that's what's so cool about it. It's just like, again, we don't the group idea of Girl Radical. There are no limits. We are not stifled to just one thing. As a pop group, they can really transcend the norm and do something unique and give people multiple dimensions of entertainment.
Yeah.
And for the audience point of view, there's 11 people to connect to. You know what I mean? So it's like you connect to 5 guys or whatever, 5 girls. Now you have twice that many for twice as many people to connect. Like that girl's just like me, especially if they're all individuals.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. The first time that we took a picture of the group, just a picture, when you look at it in a photo, like, you just see so many different points of view, so many different lives, and that's just from a photograph.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're looking at one
Looks
person.
like a Benetton ad.
It really does, man. And again, it's exciting because it makes you wonder. I wonder what she's like in person. I wonder what she's like. It just gets the wheels turning. It makes you curious, and that's what I loved.
Yeah. Now, but so because one thing, because I know we're gonna bring them in here.
Yeah.
The one thing that's been really driving me crazy, and we're not going to talk bad about One Direction, but I went to go see the One Direction movie, and I have to say they are super talented. Vocally, they have the chops.
Sure.
They are so adamant against dancing.
Yeah.
They're so adamant against not dressing. They don't want to look like a quote unquote boy band.
Sure.
But at the same time, I feel like they're doing a huge disservice to themselves because they're totally. I saw their live show. Yeah. They've got no stage presence whatsoever. Because they literally.
For you, what you like.
Well, yes and no. Well, except for trust me, they can sing and they're adorable and charismatic. But they literally they walked back and forth.
So I mean,
and
to put it in a context,
yes.
Put it in a context. It's a different kind of performance. I don't see Mariah Carey doing a ton of choreography.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
But then there's other stuff going on around her.
Sure, absolutely. But I don't see Celine Dion doing a ton of choreography. I never saw the Jonas Brothers doing a ton of choreography. So they're just not that style of group. And their music essentially wasn't the same style as ours. There's a lot of their stuff. We had guitars in some of our music, but a lot of their stuff is guitar driven. So it has that feel, that kind of essence, and that's what makes them who they are. That's what makes them stand out. Otherwise, they would be like, it's a copy of NSYNC, and you don't want that.
No, I don't.
They want to stand out as themselves. So I think they've done a good job.
But I think what I'm looking for though is somewhere sort of in the middle. Like I had also seen Boyz II Men do that, the package tour recently.
Yeah.
And Boyz II Men, there was something uniformed about them, and they have a couple moments of choreography, but then they could stand there and they could sing.
100%.
So it's like NSYNC, you guys were polished. You guys were nobody can do what you guys did, and as well as you guys did it. I hate to break it to you,
but look, there's always one around the corner, man. There always is one around the corner.
But that's why I want to know, because I'm taking all of this to apply it to Girl Radical, and where they fall is in between the. We want them to be all free spirits.
Yeah, they are.
So to that, and is there any?
Well, that's the beauty again about it. It's like we're going to show them individually, and then they come together.
That's what I want. That's what I feel like One Direction doesn't do.
But that's just.
I know that's them.
That's them. You know what I mean? And that's again what's going to make this group them is they have the ability to do both, and they're going to be able to show it to you over time because you can't show it all in one record.
Sure.
You can't show it all in 2 records. A group like this, it's going to take so much material for you to really get the most out of it, because there's that much going on. But that's what's exciting. You'll never get bored because there will be something new, something fresh just around the corner. You're not going to get a carbon copy of what was just done. You're going to get something new
because there's so many and so much going on.
It's great, man. It really is. And on some songs, again, there'll be like maybe 4 or 5 lead singers on this song, and then we'll swap out 2 or 3 over here. And I mean, even on the Christmas song we just did, we got 11 lead singers on one song.
I know, it's crazy.
It's amazing. And that's the excitement. You never get bored. You're like, oh, what does this girl sound like? Boom. What does this girl sound like? Oh, that's cool. That's it. I mean, and again, it's just about perspective. It's just about showing something fresh every time you see them.
Yeah, which is great. We're going to take one quick phone call so we can bring the girls in here. Who do we have on the phone?
Hi, it's Beth.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
Do you have a question for JC?
I do. I love hearing how he's going for the passion now.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of time, done a lot of different things, TV, obviously the music, following the passion. Now, how do you set goals for yourself? Like, what are your goals for 2014?
Well, I mean, look, and again, you even mentioned the dance show. That was something I was passionate about. That's why I chose to be a part of that.
That'd be America's Best Dance Crew.
Yeah, I was a part of America's Best Dance Crew because Randy, is a friend of mine, 1, and 2, because the first thing I ever did in public was dance in a competition. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I ever did in public. And so when Randy approached me, I decided, and again, it was at kind of a street level style, and that's what I had done. I had made up the dances in my friend's basement, so that's why I was excited to work on that show, because I saw people that were essentially kind of going through what I was going through at that age. And so I really identified with it, and that's why I even did that show. Again, I want to work on things that I'm passionate about. My goals for 2014 is to give Girl Radical everything I have. I mean, and that's something that I literally had a chat with Jimmy, the producer that I'm working with. It was just kind of like, okay, we've got we got a first single that feels good. We have a Christmas song going. We have a couple other songs kind of in the wings. But now it's like, okay, we have a package to start sharing it with everyone. And we've started to share it little by little in the fall. But it's a snowball effect. The snowball starts small, but then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which means people need more and more and more. And so 2014 is really about taking the Girl Radical project to the public. Before, it was kind of like cultivating it, developing the idea, and now that we have a foundation, now it's about sharing it with everyone and kind of introducing them to what we're thinking.
And to everybody.
Here's a goal for you for 2014.
Yes.
Find a tour bus that fits 11 girls.
Well, you can have tour buses that fit 12. I've been on them. So again, I'm
That'll
the
be
logistics.
one loud tour bus.
Oh man.
You know what though? I got to tell you,
you got to get your own car. Follow behind.
I'm in the minivan eating beef jerky like at 2:00 in the morning, just trying to keep Mountain Dew, 5-hour energy. Let's go. But
That bus is going to smell far better than the other bus you've been on.
I'm
let's be
sure
honest.
between Chris's dogs and everything else, and Joey's dogs, man, those things.
Joey's farts.
Oh, jeez. I didn't go there.
I know.
I had to. Joey made a smelly tour bus. Let's just be honest.
No.
Thank you for calling in, Beth.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Beth. Okay, you guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to get the girls in here because it's time. And we will be taking your calls, 323-284-7826. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.